Yay, I am back. So, hopefully, you can all see me well, see my screen. Thanks for your patience. I did have a little problem where I could not reshare my screen. I could go into the settings and I could see the button to share my screen, but it was blanked out. So, this is what we went through last week. This is my course outline, completely done. This is my course outline completely finished, all ready to go. Now, as you can see, I have 3 modules. Those 3 modules are then broken down into 3 learning outcomes per module. I usually like to keep it between 3 to 5. Then each outcome has a knowledge, skill, and ability. So to answer this question to what goes in and what goes out, by understanding my possible clients, by understanding my possible students, so that's understanding all the questions that are coming through, creating the learner personas, and really having a avatar, as we said, and then breaking it down into understanding what this avatar, what this person has already attempted to do, where they are at, what their goal is, where they want to go. Understand all of that then helps me to identify, okay, well, when I create my course, I'm taking this person from point A to point B. And that point A is where your student currently is, what they have tried, what their expertise level is, if they're a novice at what they're doing or if they're an expert. And then it's also going into, so all of that, all of those are point A. That is where they are currently now, with their experience, with their past experiences, with their current knowledge, with the struggles that they are having now. And then point B is, where do they want to go? Where is their overall goal? So being very specific and understanding what that goal is. Now, for me, the goal that most of my clients are wanting to achieve is to launch a successful online course, right? They don't want to just launch any course. They want to make sure that they're launching a course that is successful. And that might change per client, right? So by understanding this, by understanding where they currently are and where they want to go, that gives me a window, point A to point B. And that window is what helps me identify what I am going to include in my course and what I'm not going to include. That window is these steps that I create here. These are the processes that I'm walking someone through from what they already know to where they want to be. And with your expertise in the field, you will know how to break that down. If we go back to the example that I explained in the previous video that I had to stop and then reshare, is that for me, I know that with a lot of people that I'm working with, they already know the benefits of online courses. They already have some understanding of what online courses are. They already have an understanding of different platforms that they can use. They probably already have chosen a platform that they would like to use, or they have a couple of categories. They already have some idea of their clients because they've been working with them one-on-one. So this is what I already know about students that I have worked with, about clients that I have worked with one-on-one. So I know by using that example, I'm not going to be jumping in and saying, the 101 of online courses. What is an online course? Why have an online course? How can it benefit your business? That's not what I'm going to do for this course, because the avatar for my course is at a higher level than that. They've already progressed past that knowledge. So to answer that question of what goes in, what does not go in, having this template, having this outline helps me to stay within that window of point A to point B. So what I wanted to talk about today was, how do we get from this to creating a course? And last week we briefly looked at that when we have our learning outcomes, we can then, we have our knowledge, skills, and abilities, we can then determine what types of activities, what types of lessons, what type of assessments we will be doing. So I wanted to focus on this first one today. This first learning outcome is to recognize the advantages of a course structure or a course plan. I know I want to change that to a course plan. And then the knowledge that I've identified that I need to put in here to help someone recognize the advantage of a course structure is to understand the benefits, understand the consequences of not having one, and differentiate the difference between an outline and a course plan. And to do that, I am going to have one case study, one article, and one video. So that's what we know. But however, still, it is difficult, not impossible, but difficult to move from this to creating online courses or to creating your content. Because you could sit down and create all your content and still feel like you're not ready to launch. So this is when we go to the course outline part 2. And this is where I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what's included in each one. Also, I'm going to put these in the order that I want to put them in. So I've just thrown in some of this here just to show you an example because I want to go through it together. So this is my chapter or my bundle, depending on how you want to build your course, depending on the terminology you use. My course is a 3 bundled course. So the first one is design an online course. Now in that, this is the outcome. The first outcome is recognize the advantages of a course plan. In this, I'm going to have 3 different types of lessons that will support someone to be able to recognize the advantage of a course plan. The first one I'm going to do is a video. Now this video, the objective of this video is, I'm just going to write this down. The objective of this video is for someone to understand the benefits of spending time in creating a course plan. And these objectives can be very similar. They might be exactly the same as your knowledge, skills, and abilities. What's the purpose? So objective, or what's the purpose? Why are you doing this video? And the benefit of writing this down over and over again, you might see that it's happened so many times here, is because it's helping me continuously ask myself, is this going to help someone to be able to achieve the outcome? And with all of these little parts together, will it help someone achieve the overall goal? So I'm constantly being able to build up a journey. And by laying it out like this, I'm also able to see if there are any gaps. So if I was to fill this in, I'm going to go ahead and just fill in this first section for this first outcome. Recognize the advantages. This is to understand the benefits. And the video, the brief overview, is highlighting the benefits of a course plan. We're going to go into a little bit more of how to manage these videos shortly. I'll just move on to this case study. So this case study, the brief overview of what could go wrong without a course plan. And the objective of this is providing an overview of the consequences when a plan is not implemented or thoroughly designed. And finally, my blog is going to be a brief overview of the difference between an outline and a course plan. The purpose of this is to further demonstrate why a course plan is so useful. I wanted to write in here as well, which I might put in as a comment. Course outline is like a contents page of a book. Just headings without details. Okay, so the point here is that the blog is talking about the difference, and it's even further highlighting that a course outline is not a course plan. And if you have only a course outline, it's going to have some consequences aligned to it. So in this time as well, this is when I can ask myself, with all of these three combined, could someone turn around to me after going through these three steps? Could a student turn around to me and tell me what are the advantages of a course plan? And if they are competent in being able to recognize the advantages of a course plan, then I don't need to provide any more. In this time as well, right, is when you can find those gaps where you want to add more information in. It's also a great point where we're actually building our outline. And you might say at this point, okay, well, I don't want my course to start with a video talking about this, talking about the benefits of a course plan. I want my course to start with an introductory video. So then we put that in here. Introductory video. Welcome to the course and instructions. Okay, so we're starting to say, if we're building our journey for our clients, if we're building a journey for our students, what does that look like? And is it in the right order? Is it missing anything? Should you add something else in? And at each point, we're aligning it back to what we've done here, right? We're making sure, is there something else that I could include? For example, maybe I want to add a quiz in. Exactly, Casper. Great point that you brought up. And I was discussing this yesterday. I'm just going to go off what's it called? Off script for a bit, Casper, just to, in regards to what you've said, is that the other day I was discussing on LinkedIn if you can be a teacher and a guide at the same time. And what I really prefer to do, my preference when I'm consulting one-on-one, is to guide people to be able to understand why a course plan is so important, right? So going through this together and guiding them through building one, they can start to see why it's so beneficial, which is why I wanted to put this case study in here. Rather than saying in the video, a course plan is great because X, Y, Z, is actually to show a case study that starts to get people critically thinking and starts to get people to use their cognitive abilities to really resonate why you should invest so much time in the online course, in the planning of the design an online course. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I'm on track here. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go ahead and do the design and create a structured course plan that is aligned to one overall goal. Now, if I go back, I can see my 3 points here. So there's actually more than just 3. There's 7. Identify the components of a course plan. Understand needs, wants, and motivations of prospective students. Solve a problem of the prospective student. Break down the goal into 3 to 5 manageable steps. Oh, that's only meant to be 1. Determine competencies required. Rewrite the problem into a course goal. Reframe each learning outcome and competency into an action students will have the ability to do. Which you may have noticed that each one of my outcomes and my competencies start with a verb, because these are things that people would have the ability to do by the end of my course. They're actions that someone's going to have the ability to do. So I've briefly listed some examples here. I've only got 3 at the moment because I did add some more knowledge into today. So if I was to look at this and I said, pre-unit quizzes, live webinar Q&A, case studies. Then I come across here, and it's pretty evident that the pre-unit quiz will go at the beginning. I want to have a drop down here. The next thing I'm going to do is create this as a drop down so you can select from a list. Pre-unit quiz, live webinars, and case studies. Okay. So if I was to then put this in here, I can already see that three lessons or activities is not going to be enough to be able to cover everything that I've highlighted here. I already know that. So this is a great point to say, okay, well, what am I going to do? Okay. I'm just going to hold on because I've just been notified there's a bit of a lag. Okay, so if I just take, for example, identify the components of a course plan. Coming over here, I can say list the components of a course plan. That's a purpose of one of my lessons I need to have. So I could do that in a live webinar. I could do that just through text. You know, this is just something to be able to provide an outline of what's needed. So this is where I can say it might be a blog. If I put this here, it might be a blog. It could be just text, a text lesson. It could be an email that's not even in the course. We're not going to talk about that now. So I'm just going to do text. Okay, because you can have text lessons. And the brief overview is list the 3 components of a course plan. Now this could simply be a section that says there are 3 parts to an online course. 1, 2, 3. And then move on to the next activity. And then later on we revisit this as well. So here is when I'm really laying out what my course looks like. I'm laying out this journey. Right now I highlighted a pre-unit quiz. Over here in my course outline, I said that we were going to do a pre-unit quiz. So what am I actually doing a quiz on? And why do a pre-unit quiz? By the way, a pre-unit quiz is a really great way to ascertain knowledge. They are really useful. I love doing pre-unit quizzes when I'm either doing live sessions in that quiz or I'm in a beta mode of that course. And what it allows me to do is understand students even more by making sure that I'm starting at the point that's right for them. So a pre-unit quiz is a great way to ascertain current knowledge. All right. So what we can do from here. Once I have my course outline, then I can easily move over to start to build a storyboard. And we looked at this last week. So I'm just going to jump over to this page here. A storyboard is when we start to outline exactly what I'm going to go through in my video. And now that we have, I'm just going to jump back over to the course outline template. Now that I have gone through my 3 different tabs, where I have gone through what learning outcomes are, the knowledge, skills, and abilities, then I've broken that down further when I start to do mapping. I start to say, okay, well, what type of lessons, activities, and assessments is going to help someone be able to reach these knowledge, skills, and abilities and attain these outcomes? And then I go one step further and I drill down further and I start to design an outline. Now you can do this however you like. You can do this on post-it notes. You can do this in mind mapping. You can write everything down. I like to have a layout. This is like a lesson plan, but it's a really, really long lesson plan, right? It's not a 60-minute lesson plan, but it's breaking everything down to say what are the students going to see first, and then what journey are we going to take them on to help them get to the overall outcome. And at each point, we're mapping it back, making sure that we are supporting our students to be able to reach these objectives, to be able to reach these outcomes. And then in these videos, where we already know that we are able to stay on track on this video by only highlighting the benefits of a course plan, right? We're not talking about recognizing the advantages of a course plan. We're going into what are the benefits of a course plan. And so by going down, by drilling deeper and deeper and deeper into our course plan, we're identifying exactly what we're going to be covering in our video so that when we go to record, we can stay on track. Likewise, when we come to our storyboard, this is when we're going through, let's say we're doing a 5-minute video. At this point, we are saying what's going to happen in that 5 minutes. What type of multimedia will someone see? What type of content will they hear? What kind of instructions, what type of interactions will they see or will they be requested to do? Oh, sorry. Okay, so once we have that, we're then at a point. Once we have our just loading. So once we have our course outline, this part 2 section, you might want to just use part 1. It all depends what feels right for you. Right? At this part here, I've written some comments here about what I would like to include in each of these. That might be enough for you. Or you might want to see it visually like this. Or you may want to have a mind map. You may want to write on post-it notes like you saw that I have. If you've watched my stories, I've got post-it notes as well. I have multiple different ways to make sense of it, to then find gaps. When I get to this layout here, I already have a really strong idea of what's going to be included, and this is just the final check that everything is in the right order. Once I have that, once I have my storyboards, I'm good to go. I'm good to start recording. Now I know that I've taken up a lot of your time, and I did want to quickly show you what I do to record, but I'm not sure if I can change that. I'm trying to now go back to stopping my share, but I don't think I can do that. So what I wanted to just quickly go over is what I have set up. So what I have set up around me right now is I have a light that's behind me. No, I can't stop my screen share. Okay, I can't stop it. So I have a light that's behind me that's reflecting light from the back, and then I have a light in front of me that's reflecting light on the front, so there's no shadows. I have a webcam that's sitting on top of my camera, that's sitting on top of a desk that's heightened, and then I have my microphone on a lower point closer to me. I have a mobile setup. I am dreaming for the time that I do have a studio where I can record everything, but right now that's not something when I'm living between 2 different places. But I have a mobile setup. I can literally put everything I have in a shopping bag, one of the big reusable shopping bags. What I also wanted to highlight, sorry, I just realized I'm still sharing my screen. Okie dokie. Let me get back to, I have so many things open. This one here. All right. So what I do as well is I record in Loom. So let me open up a different screen for you, which I believe is this one. Okay. In Loom, these are videos that I have open. I hope they're not going to start recording, playing, but these are different videos that I've already recorded. And I record them in Loom. I then download them, and then I then use Shortcut. Now I think it might be best for me to use a completely different live session where I can demonstrate this further to you if you would like, about how to use Loom and how to use Shortcut to make your course creation quicker, or your video editing quicker. Thanks so much for all of your time today and listening in and being so, what's the word that I'm looking for? Being so flexible in me coming in and coming out of the Facebook group and being so patient. So thank you very much. If you're watching this in a replay, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help. You're welcome, Gasper. And see you all next week. Bye for now.